With Tonex pedal and Tonex software being such relatively new releases, there are sometimes a lot of features that maybe could even be categorized as hidden features that could easily be overlooked by an end user that could actually cause them to really and truly miss out on some of the most powerful features of one of these new products. So today we're going to talk about what I feel might just be one of the most important features that we have both in Tonex pedal and Tonex software. Today I'm going to be utilizing Tonex software just because it's so much easier to present to you on screen and show you exactly what I'm talking about. A little hint, it's called VIR and it's extremely powerful, and you may just want to try this. So when we pull up Tonex software, you'll see right here this little gray button that says VIR and there's a cube under it. Now you'll notice here that I am using a tone model. It's a DI tone model, which is my Voxy 20 DI, which is some captures of my incredible Morgan Amplification Dual 20, an incredible Vox AC30 style amp. And I must say this amp sounds absolutely spectacular, and these captures came out sounding great. Now I have two bundles available, the Voxy 20 that I baked in the cab that I was using it with it, or the two different cabs that I was using with it, but I also shot a different bundle, and the links to these are below on the website. If you like what you hear and you want to help support my channel, you can grab copies of these bundles and hopefully really enjoy the tones later in the video. I'll play you an audio demo of what these particular bundles sound like in the mix, and you'll hear a couple demos when I'm demonstrating the VIR technology in a moment. But back to the VIR. So we have this tone model selected, and you'll notice it's a DI capture, so there's no cab on it. But what happens when I click this little VIR button? You'll notice the cab gets assigned to what this VIR is. Well, before we go on, let's figure out what VIR actually is. If we head on over to the IK Multimedia site and to actually the Amplitude 5 page, this is where this VIR technology first appeared. And you'll notice it says new cabinet section with VIR technology. This is when Amplitude 5 was first introduced. It says Amplitude 5 also premieres a re-engineered cab section with all new DSP. IK's new volumetric impulse response, or for short, as we've been calling it, VIR. It uses 600 IRs per speaker, 1200 IRs for a two-speaker cab, and 2400 IRs for a four-speaker cab. Now, obviously, this is not going to be possible inside of Tonex. We're going to only have single IRs. It's telling us we're going to have 600 IRs per speaker when we choose this option. It says capturing a massive 3D array of mic placement options, plus all the interactions between speakers, cabinet, and floor for a completely true-to-life sound. Amplitude's movable microphones now truly shine with an easy-to-use grid that lets you snap to precise IR pointers, seamlessly blend between multiple measurements. So it says here, best of all, we've re-measured over 100 cabinets in Amplitude 5, refreshing every single cab for a massive 143,000 IRs. Now, obviously, this is talking about Amplitude 5. How does this apply to Tonex? Well, coming back over to Tonex, you'll notice here that if I just get out of this little window here, I can X that off. I can go to the cab section. Another way we can choose this, here we have all of the cabs we have in Tonex. We have the ability to add custom IRs, but right down here could be easily missed. We have VIR. When we click on that, you'll notice the cabinets change, right? So I can click through here and find other cabs, but down here at VIR, we have these cabs. Now, at first you might go, well, what does all this mean? 16 DK, 18 champ, 110 tone. Well, that's not 16, that's 1/6. So that's a 1/6-inch speaker cab. 1/8 is a 1/8-inch speaker cab, 1/10-inch, 112, 212, and 412. Down here to what seem like they're base rigs, 410 SVX, probably an Ampeg SVX cab, 115, 810. Some of these are very self-explanatory. I'm thinking something like the 212 Twin would be a Fender Twin amp, a 115 Bassman, probably a Tiny Terror, probably a Dr. Z here for the Maz, Cali and Mark are probably Mesa Boogie cabs. But if we wanted to be totally sure, and anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if IK Multimedia has a list of these, but what you can do is you can come over here to Amplitude 5, and if you go to their cab section, you can see here, for instance, 1/6 BMDK. I'm thinking we can find some of these. If you look over here in the Tonex manual, here is a list of these cabs. And what I'm actually thinking, if I just wheel this over a little bit, you know, the 1/6 DK would be this cab here. The 1/8 champ would be very likely this cab here, and so on and so forth. So if we really needed to know what one of these were, but we didn't realize what they were, we could cross-reference them with amplitude. It would be kind of nice if we did have a list of these in detail with what cab they are utilizing, but again, it's not a deal breaker. I think a lot of these are pretty self-explanatory. So here we are back over in Tonex. So what can we do with this VIR technology? Well, here is one of the presets from my Voxy 20 Di. Now this is utilizing a custom IR that I shot, the Celestion Custom 90, with a VIR M160 microphone, and it sounds like this. I'm playing my Gibson SG on its bridge pickup. Really loving these tones. Again, the link is below if you're interested in grabbing this bundle. Because I captured the amp DI, there was no cab baked into it. So it makes it kind of the ideal situation for swapping cabs out. So I come over to my VIR and you'll notice the cab changes. Now this is going to sound completely different. I look up here and it says I'm on a 412 T1 cab, and it's being mic'd with two mics, an AKG 414C and a Shure SM57. And I can move those microphones around, which is going to dramatically change the sound, and I can also adjust the cab resonance, and I can blend between the two mics. But let's just start here with what comes up by default. Now, this may not be the perfect match at all for this particular tone model, but let's see what happens. Got quite fat and dark sounding, not bad, but let's go explore the cabs we have. Since we're dealing with kind of a Voxy style here, I'm gonna go with this 212 Blue, which is, I'm figuring probably a Vox cabinet with Celestion Blue speakers in it. And just at the default settings here, which are going to be a perfect blend between the two mics, a 414C and a 57D microphone, and the resonance set at its default setting, this is what this sounds like. Not bad, maybe not exactly what I want. So how can we tweak this? Well, I can simply come up here and say, I'm going to choose a different mic. We have a choice of three mics. The AKG 414, condenser 414, the Dynamic 57, which would be a Shure SM57, and a Ribbon 121, which would be the Royer R121, a classic mic and one of my favorites. So this is the yellow mic. You can see it's going to be controlled by the yellow dot. And we can blend that with either the condenser or the dynamic mic. Let's keep it at the 57. A real classic pairing, a Royer 121 and a Shure SM57. Now this positioning might not be ideal, but let's just hear what it sounds like when I swap out to this Royer mic. Nice stuff. Well, how can we dial this in? Well, what I would do is I would choose the mic that maybe I'm going to use as my most dominant mic, and I'm going to just mix all of that in. So now we're not utilizing the SM57 anymore. We can adjust the cab resonance. Right, so we see that can be a very powerful tool. Let's just go back to default on that. And we can move the microphone around. You'll notice more proximity effect when we get closer, as would happen in the real world. Or we could take some edge away from it. So let's leave that there and let's switch over to just the SM57. Now, if I put this SM57, which is kind of a grainy mic to begin with, right on the dead center of the speaker, I'm going to get some pretty harsh frequencies. But what if we were to take that and blend it with the warmer R121? We can see just how powerful this is, and we can really tweak this in any way possible, and not by utilizing the tone stack or the advanced parameters EQs, which I've talked about in other videos, but these can be just as powerful as well. But if we wanted to just leave that tone model exactly as it is, especially in the instance of a DI capture, we can come in here and dramatically change our tone for the better, or even possibly for the worse if we're not careful, but we can tailor it in a way that might be much more suitable for us, or at least give us a much wider variety of tones from the same amp model, which would be a very cool thing. Well, obviously, we could come in here and choose different speaker cabinets, and there's quite a few to choose from, especially when we think about how they would be combined with all the possibilities of combining the two microphones, the cab resonance, and the ability to move the microphones around. Now, how would these work on a capture that wasn't done as a DI capture? I think this is an important point to bring up because a lot of folks feel like maybe the cab removal technology of Tonex isn't that great. I disagree. I think it's actually pretty good. Would I prefer to maybe use a DI capture if I was going to do this? Probably, but let's see how this works. This is the other Voxy 20 package I have that has the baked-in cab, and I captured this with both a Greenback 25 and a Jensen C12K speaker. This has a very nice smooth sound to it. I dialed it in like this very much on purpose. Works really nice with single coil pickups. And then I also dialed in the same tone with the Greenback 25 speaker. Again, really, really nice tone. So let's just come back here and say, what if we were dealing with this tone and we wanted to utilize the VIR technology? So Tonex software is going to have to remove this cab, which is kind of baked into it, but it does do, and I think it does do it well. We can select here, come down to VIR. Let's go back to the same speaker we were utilizing before. And we'll switch it out again to the same mics I had. Where was I here? Maybe somewhere around there and somewhere around here. And blended those together. Again, we can play around with this. The other nice feature is if I wanted to try that on different tone models, I can lock this cabinet and you can see just how flexible this can be. So remember, that is not with the DI capture, but that is from my Voxy 20 Ultimate preset bundle that had a cab baked in. So some amazing tones here. And again, we have all of these choices. What if I wanted to try that through Dr. Z Maz cabinet? We could just select over to that. And again, we can tweak things around. and it's going to work quite nicely. Alrighty, so there you have it. I'm sure a lot of you were aware that this was in the Tonex software and therefore can be transferred over to Tonex pedal. But I'm sure a lot of folks maybe could easily have missed that. And I wanted to do a video to showcase that just so that you could see just how powerful it is. Don't you have to use it? No, sometimes when you have a preset that you load in, everything sounds perfect, everything's great, you leave it alone. Maybe a little tweak to the presence or depth or bass or treble or mids. Maybe a little tweak to the gain and everything is good. But sometimes it doesn't work out that way. And we can have a lot of fun with diving down the rabbit hole of trying different VIRs that are included already. And we may just find one of our favorite tone models might become even more useful for certain situations. For now, I wanted to play a little demo video of the Voxy 20 tone bundles that I have. The link is below, but here's how these sound in a mix. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that. If you did like those tones, there is a link below to where you can purchase them from my website. It helps to support my channel and helps me to be able to keep doing these videos that hopefully you find helpful. And I really do feel great when somebody reaches out and contacts me and tells me that they got a great little tidbit of information from a video to help them to get better tones. That always is a great thing, and I hope these videos are helpful. Thank you guys again so much for sharing your time with me. Please like the video and please share it with anybody who you think could find it useful or at least enjoyable. And also please subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell notification to get notified when I put new content out. I'll be back really soon with some more. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Ciao for now.